Hey, I'm Maggie, and let me tell you about the time I learned that love isn't always as picture-perfect as it seems. Back in the 90s, when grunge was all the rage and Friends was the hottest show on TV, I was a bright-eyed college student with big dreams and an even bigger heart. That's when I met Alex. He was this charming, just-graduated guy with a passion for animals and a smile that could light up a room. We hit it off instantly, bonding over our shared love for tacos and bad 80s movies. It felt like the universe was playing matchmaker. We realized we were both planning to move across the country and would end up living just a short drive apart. Alex came from this amazing family, 2 sisters and a younger brother who welcomed me with open arms. I felt like I'd won the lottery, not just with Alex, but with this instant group of friends who felt more like family. Now, picture this. Me, driving down the coast every weekend, my beat-up car filled with mixtapes and dreams, heading to Alex's place. He was knee-deep in his PhD program, surrounded by textbooks and small animals he was breeding for extra cash. It was like stepping into a mini zoo every time I visited, and I loved every second of it. I even made friends with his advisor's wife, Linda. She was this warm, motherly figure in her mid-50s who worked at the university. We'd grab lunch together, and she'd share stories about her wild college days that would make me laugh until my sides hurt. But here's where the story takes a turn. It was a lazy Sunday afternoon, about 2 years into our relationship. We were cuddled up in bed, half-dressed and completely relaxed, when Alex dropped a bombshell. "Maggie," he said, his voice oddly serious, "I'm worried you've been gaining weight. It's making it hard for me to be attracted to you." I felt like I'd been dunked in ice water. No concern for my health, no gentle inquiry about how I was feeling. Just a blunt statement about his attraction. Even at 23, I knew this wasn't okay. I sat up, pulling the sheet around me. "Well," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "maybe you should make sure there's better food here than just crackers and cheese when I visit." Alex just stared at me, clearly not expecting me to stand up for myself. "So," I continued, "what's your solution to this?" He blinked, looking like a deer in headlights. "Well, I guess you should try to lose weight." I couldn't help but laugh. "Nah, I'm not going to do that. What are you going to do about it?" I guess nothing," he stammered. "I just wanted to let you know how I feel." "Cool, thanks for sharing," I said, sliding out of bed and pulling on my clothes. I went to sleep that night with a million thoughts racing through my head. But one thing was clear. This wasn't my problem to fix. The next morning, I drove home as usual, but something had shifted. I realized that sometimes the person you think is your soulmate might just be another stepping stone on your journey. And that's okay, because each experience teaches us something valuable about ourselves and what we deserve in love. So we kept dating for a few more months after that weird weight comment. Then, out of the blue, Alex calls me up and drops this bomb. "I want to break up." Now, we'd been together for almost 3 years. So naturally, I asked why, and get this. His reason? "You don't know enough about science." I kid you not. He said he couldn't talk to me about his work without using animal names a 5-year-old would understand. I called bull on that real quick, but he stuck to his guns. It wasn't until a month later, when he came to return some of my stuff, that I finally got the truth out of him. Turns out, he'd been seeing a student. Let's call her Emily. She was barely 18, and he was 26. Oh, and did I mention he was her teacher? Yeah, real classy move, Alex. When he admitted it, I lost it. I screamed at him to get out, and my roommate, bless her heart, threatened to toss him off our second-floor balcony if he didn't leave pronto. After he left, I went from rage to hysterical laughter in about 2 seconds flat. I'd met Emily before. She was a sweet girl, but definitely on the thicker side. Remember when Alex made those comments about my weight? Yeah, turns out he was just trying to get me to break up with him because he was too chicken to do it himself. The irony was not lost on me. Now, I'm not one to let things go easily, so I decided to have a little fun. I emailed Alex's roommates to let them know we'd broken up. Turns out, they knew about Emily and had actually forced Alex to come clean to me. One of the roommates, Tom, offered to help me get my stuff from their house. So I went up for the weekend, and Tom let me into the house while Alex was out. I took photos of all the animals, including some endangered species Alex was keeping illegally, and some animals not even allowed in the state we were in. Then Tom and I went out for a night on the town. We stumbled back around midnight, making sure Alex and Emily saw us. I was in a short dress, giggling and hanging off Tom's arm. We spent the night in Tom's room, making sure to be extra loud, pretending to do something, if you know what I mean. The next morning, I sauntered out in my rumpled dress, eating a donut as slowly and seductively as possible. Alex had the nerve to call me a I just smiled, said, "Have fun with my leftovers" to Emily, and walked out like the queen I am. But that wasn't my real revenge like I thought. The next day, I developed those photos and called the Fish and Wildlife Office. I reported all the illegal animals Alex was keeping, and the cherry on top, Tom and the other roommate decided to report to the university that Alex was sleeping with a student. They made sure to spread the word about Alex's shenanigans with Emily. Soon, everyone in their program knew about the cheating and the student-teacher relationship. It gets really juicy, though. I called my friend Linda, Alex's advisor's wife, and told her everything about Alex's confession. She was not happy. She promised to make sure it was investigated, and I could practically hear her husband's jaw drop through the phone. A few weeks later, Tom, Alex's roommate, called me, absolutely giddy. Fish and wildlife officials had shown up and were confiscating animals left and right. Emily, bless her heart, told the officials all the animals belonged to Alex, thinking she was helping. Oh, honey. I wasn't done. I decided to make a call to the EPA. You see, Alex had just gotten this big fancy grant. I asked how one might report a grant recipient being investigated for illegally harboring endangered animals. Long story short, Alex lost his $30,000 grant and had to pay it all back. Ouch. The university wasn't too thrilled either. They revoked his scholarship and fired him from teaching. Somehow, he avoided expulsion, but his academic career was pretty much toast. I couldn't help but laugh at how carelessly he flaunted his relationship with Emily. I mean, he couldn't even wait 4 weeks until she was done with his class, which means he would have been fine dating her according to the university rules. Talk about being dumbly self-assured. Looking back, I realized that sometimes the people we think we know can surprise us in the worst ways. But it also taught me that I'm stronger than I thought, and that there are always good people out there willing to stand up for what's right. And that karma? She's a real piece of work, let me tell you. This story is not over yet. Stay tuned for part 2 in next video.